How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to help you improve your defending by busting this popular FIFA myth. And before we jump into it, please, if you get a chance, just like, comment, subscribe, let me know what other sorts of videos you want to see as we move into FIFA 22. I'd love to help you guys however I can, help you improve and then get ready for the next game. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. So the myth that we're going to be covering today is around jockeying speed with defenders. And what the common misconception or myth is that this is mostly impacted by agility. So people think that because agility impacts how fast and how quickly you can turn on the ball, that it also applies to defending when you're jockeying, when you're trying to turn and run in behind. But actually this is completely false. Agility is an on-ball stat only. This is why it's under the dribbling section. The stats that actually impact this are acceleration, sprint speed, defensive awareness, and also your player's build, so their height and their weight. So all of these factors go into, I think that you could probably say that defensive awareness is the #1 factor, but certainly if a player has low speed or acceleration, they're not going to accelerate well in the jockey. The defensive awareness is more about how smooth, how well they turn, and how well they can slide across the pitch, not the speed at which they do so. But you also have to look at their height. If they have long legs, they're going to take bigger steps. It's going to be hard to turn in more narrow, confined spaces. And also with their weight, if they're heavier, they're going to decelerate slower. They're going to accelerate slower. So they're going to take more time to move when you're changing directions. And without going too much just into theory, let's actually take a look at how this works. So first here, let's take a look at what would be considered probably one of the best center backs in the game, Raphael Varane's Team of the Season card. And many people, I think, would say that this is a player that is extremely responsive, extremely quick. However, he only has 74 agility, which by center back standards, if we were talking about gold cards early on, that's pretty high. Sergio Ramos's gold card is one of the highest. He has 78. So 74 certainly isn't a bad number, but you would think for one of the quickest, most agile and nimble center backs in the game, that this would be a player with 85, 90 agility. But I think this is a good proof that this actually isn't a factor. And from the reason that Varane is so good at jockeying and feels so smooth when you're using him in defense are, one, his speed. So you see with a shadow, which most people would use, he's basically maxed out on speed. His defensive awareness, again, basically maxed out. And then you look at his body type. So looking at his physicals, you'll see he's 6'3", which is pretty tall, but it's not huge. It's not like 6'5". And also if you look at his weight, it's not that high. He doesn't have a super clunky body type. So really all of these factors contribute to him feeling really good when you're jockeying with him. And now if we compare Varane to a player who in theory should be a similar quality of player, but I think most people who have used him would recognize that he is not, and that's flashback Gerard Piqué. So his flashback card is actually rated 1 overall higher, but if we look at his stats, you'll see his pace is much lower. So obviously right off the bat with that pace, you're going to see that he's going to be slower when you're moving him, but his agility is higher. So remember, Varane's Team of the Season card had 74 agility, while Flashback Piqué has 81 agility. He does have 99 defensive awareness, but he is also a little bit taller and a little bit heavier. So you see that, if you compare these two, they feel night and day different when you're controlling them in game. So you really can tell that the agility is not a factor at all. But maybe you're thinking, oh, well, maybe the agility's, it's fairly close, 81, 74, not too big of a deal. Let's actually look at an in-game example that's a little bit more drastic just to show you how much agility does not play a factor in defensive jockeying. So in our first clip here, we have a regular gold Sergio Ramos. This is in an offline mode, but it's the same stats as his gold card, so 78 agility. You'll see on ball, he's fairly responsive, pretty good for a center back, even though his dribbling's not amazing, but he dribbles pretty well because he has good agility for a center back, and that's where you can really sense that agility. But then as we see him off the ball jockeying, you'll see he's really agile. And you'll think, okay, well, he's one of the most agile center backs, so of course he feels that way. But what you'll see is this is really more just about his height. He's pretty short for center back, around 6 feet tall. He has a lower weight, but he also has very good defensive awareness. He has pretty good speed. He has really all the factors outside of agility, which doesn't play a factor. He has all these other factors that do contribute. So now let's take a look at how he compares when we set his agility to 1. So now here in this clip, we are going to see Sergio Ramos's regular card, again in an offline mode. Everything is exactly the same on his stats, except his agility has been changed from 78 to 1. And just watch with his jockeying. it's exactly the same. You see, it's fairly smooth. It's not amazing because, again, this is just a regular base card, so he's not pace boosted like a Ultimate Team player. You know, it's a kind of a base level card. But you'll see when he's jockeying that, you know, it's still smooth. It might not be as fast as you might think in game because you're used to using a more boosted card, but watching the way he moves, you know, he's responsive. When you look at my input in the top right corner, he's moving back and forth. He's sliding very responsively. And for one last example, now let's look at Sergio Ramos with 99 agility. So we just saw him with 1 agility, the bare minimum, and now we're going to watch with 99 agility, and you'll see it's exactly the same. The way he's jockeying, the way he's moving, he slides smoothly, but he's not any faster. You know, it's all the other factors other than agility are the same, and you can tell that on the ball, he looks great. He's really turning quickly, but when he's jockeying, there is no difference at all. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. A little bit of a shorter quick tip video, but hopefully this helps you moving into FIFA 22 when you're looking at center backs so that you're picking them based on the right factors and not things that don't actually impact them like agility. If you want a player who's better on ball, you might notice that agility helping a bit, but you're really not seeing any effect when you're jockeying with that agility. There are certainly lots of other factors that you should be looking out for though, so the body type, like the height and weight, the actual body type in game, so is it lean, is it stocky, is it high and average? Of course, defensive awareness is really important, and then of course speed. I think you guys are probably already probably picking your defenders based off of speed anyway, but that's really going to have much more of an impact along with these other factors, more so than agility. And that's going to do it for today's video. Again, let me know what other videos you want to see. Going to be coming out with a few more tactics videos soon. Hope you guys are still having fun with FIFA 21, and hope you're also getting excited for FIFA 22.